Introduction. Why influence matters in today's world. Picture this. You share an idea that could change the direction of a project, or your team, or your life. The room goes quiet. Someone nods, a few people check their phones, and the moment slips away. Later, you replay it and think, if only I had said it differently. If only they had felt what I felt. Influence is the difference between a good idea and a green light. It is the skill that turns clarity into action, strangers into allies, and nerves into a steady voice people want to follow. You may already know how it feels to work hard yet be overlooked. You speak and people miss the point. You worry that being persuasive means being pushy, so you hold back and watch others with less insight move the room. You try to communicate, but your words land flat, your tone feels off, and you leave conversations wondering what you missed. You want to lead without forcing, sell without pressure, and connect without pretending. You want the kind of influence that respects people and still gets things done. The need has never been more urgent. Attention is scarce, choices are endless, and trust is fragile. Remote calls compress cues that used to be obvious. Teams move fast, buyers weigh risk carefully, and friends and partners crave warmth and honesty. Reputations are formed in micro-decisions, in how you open a meeting, how you ask for a commitment, how you handle a no. In this environment, tactics and tricks do not last. Clarity, empathy, and consistent character do. When you learn to influence ethically, you become the person who makes decisions easier for others. That is valuable everywhere. This book gives you a simple, ethical system that you can use immediately. You will learn how influence really works, why it is different from manipulation, and how to apply it in a way that builds long-term trust. The approach is grounded in psychology, communication, and leadership practice. It has been tested in sales conversations, negotiations, team meetings, and everyday social moments. You will get scripts you can adapt to your voice, stories you can tell with confidence, and habits you can practice daily until influence becomes natural. The goal is not to perform. It is to be clear, calm, and aligned with your values while you guide people toward better choices. What makes this method different is its focus on ethics and practicality. Many resources offer clever lines or pressure tactics that work in the short term and then backfire. Here, you will use an ethical filter for every technique, so your intent stays clean and your relationships grow stronger over time. You will learn to communicate with less noise and more signal, to listen in a way that people feel seen, and to pair principles with real examples you can apply today. You will build presence that steadies the room, not tricks that show up and wear off. Inside this book, you begin by exploring what influence truly means and why it is not the same as manipulation. You will see how influence shows up in career moves, team dynamics, sales, and friendships. You will learn the basics of why people say yes, including the roles of safety, belonging, status, and certainty. You will leave this section with a clear commitment to ethical influence, so you can pursue results without losing trust. Next, you will understand human behavior. You will identify core needs like autonomy, fairness, and connection, and learn how trust forms when people see your competence, character, and care. You will practice reading cues and reducing resistance with empathy and validation. You will then master communication. You will discover how clear language reduces anxiety. You will tune your tone, pace, and body language so your message feels safe and strong. You will learn to listen actively, ask layered questions, and speak less while saying more. After that, you will build instant trust and likability. You will create strong first impressions with small habits that compound, like using names, aligning pace, and making micro-promises you actually keep. You will learn mirroring that feels natural and become relatable without oversharing. You will study psychological triggers that make people say yes, such as reciprocity, social proof, authority, scarcity, and consistency. You will apply them responsibly to reduce uncertainty, clarify value, and encourage follow-through, with a checklist to keep everything transparent. You will become a powerful storyteller. You will learn a simple structure you can use anywhere. You will turn data into meaning, name the stakes, highlight transformation, and align your story with your listeners' values so they see themselves in the outcome. You will learn influence through leadership. You will set clear direction, create safety, inspire ownership, and coach with questions. You will build weekly rhythms that grow loyalty and handle conflict with calm fairness. You will apply influence in business and social situations. You will get playbooks for sales and negotiation, plus scripts for friendships and daily conversations. You will learn to read the room and adjust your presence to fit the moment. You will build confidence and presence. You will practice posture, breath, and voice control. You will remove nervous habits and create a pre-conversation ritual that centers you when the stakes feel high. You will draw a bright line between ethical influence and manipulation. You will set boundaries, protect reputation, and use a clear ethical filter for messages and methods. Finally, you will build daily habits to become more influential fast. You will practice small actions every day that compound into skill and confidence, including a 30-day challenge that makes these habits automatic. How to use this book. Move through the chapters in order, but pause often. After each section, choose one behavior to test in a real conversation within 24 hours. Use the scripts as training wheels, then simplify them to match your voice. Record short practice messages to hear your tone and pacing. Keep a notebook for 3 things: what you tried, what worked, what to adjust next time. If a chapter gives you a checklist, put it where you can see it before meetings. If a chapter offers a question, write it on a card and use it. Start the 30-day challenge when you finish Chapter 10, or sooner if you are ready. The point is practice, not perfection. Small actions, repeated daily, change how people experience you. Your transformation awaits. Imagine walking into any conversation with quiet confidence. You know how to open the room, how to set a clear outcome, and how to listen in a way that eases tension. You speak with calm energy. Your message is simple and vivid. People feel respected and safe, and they lean in because you make complex decisions easier. You negotiate firmly and fairly. You sell by serving fit and value. Your relationships deepen because your words and actions match. This is the transformation you create. You become the person who can rally a team without raising your voice. The colleague who can say no without burning bridges. The friend who knows how to ask the right question at the right time. Opportunities start to find you because your reputation travels ahead of you. Not because you are loud, but because you are clear, consistent, and ethical. Influence is not a gift some have and others do not. It is a learnable set of skills you can practice until they feel like you. If you commit to that practice, chapter by chapter, conversation by conversation, you will see the change quickly. The room will feel different when you speak. The meeting will move forward. The decision will get made, and you will know that you did it the right way. Introduction: Why Influence Matters in Today's World. Introduction: Why Influence Matters in Today's World. Why influence matters now. You live in a world crowded with messages, choices, and noise. People are overwhelmed, so they look for signals of trust and clarity. Influence helps you cut through the noise, guide decisions, and create positive change. Real influence is not pressure. It is permission. It invites people to choose a better path with you. Influence differs from manipulation. Manipulation exploits emotions for short-term gain. Influence respects autonomy, aligns interests, and builds long-term trust. As Robert Cialdini famously noted, people prefer to say yes to those they know, like, and trust. Your goal is to become that person consistently. The modern influence gap. Most people try to persuade by pushing harder, adding more words, or stacking facts. The result? More friction and less commitment. The real problem is not lack of information. It is lack of emotional safety, clarity, and credibility. When those are missing, even smart arguments fall flat. The ethical influence model uses a simple, repeatable approach. Clarity: say the right thing simply. Care: show genuine empathy for their goals and constraints. Credibility: demonstrate competence and consistency. Invitation: make clear, low-pressure asks. Think of it as a loop. See, simplify, align, invite. See their context and needs. Simplify the message. Align your offer with their values. Invite a decision. What makes people say yes? People say yes when they feel safe, understood, and certain about next steps. Safety lowers defensiveness. Understanding lowers resistance. Certainty lowers mental load. For example, in a sales demo, a clear agenda and time frame reduce anxiety. In a team meeting, stating the purpose and expected outcome at the start encourages focus. Micro decisions build your reputation. Each respectful moment, prompt follow-up, and honest answer strengthens future influence. Putting influence to work. Use this step-by-step flow in any conversation. 1. Prepare. Write one sentence that defines the desired outcome and why it matters to them. 2. Open. Set safety with a calm tone, a clear agenda, and permission to pause or ask questions. 3. Understand. Ask 2 open questions, then reflect back what you heard. 4. Shape. Present your message in 3 points: problem, value, next step. 5. Invite. Offer a specific, easy next action. Ask, does this feel workable for you? 6. Agree. Document decisions, owners, and deadlines. 7. Follow-up. Send a summary within 24 hours. Examples you can model: team case. Anna struggled to get adoption for a new tool. She began meetings with a 1-sentence purpose, asked 2 questions about workload, then aligned training to busy periods. Adoption rose because people felt seen and the path was simple. Client case: Marco closed an enterprise deal by summarizing the client's risk concerns, sharing a short case story, then offering a pilot with a clear success metric. The low-pressure invitation converted skeptics into partners. Personal case: Priya convinced friends to support a charity by sharing a 2-minute story about impact, then inviting a small monthly commitment. The ask was clear and achievable. Mistakes that undermine influence: talking more than listening, vague asks and unclear outcomes, ignoring emotions and context, inconsistent follow-up, overusing pressure or scarcity language. Key takeaways: influence is ethical guidance rooted in trust. Safety, clarity, and credibility drive decisions. C. Simplify, align, invite is your repeatable loop. Small behaviors build lasting reputation. Clear, low-pressure asks increase commitment. Action items: write your 1-sentence outcome for the week. Practice 2 open questions in your next conversation. Craft a 3-point message for a key decision. Use a pilot offer when facing resistance. Send a summary within 24 hours after each meeting. Moving forward, in the next chapter, we will explore understanding human behavior. You will learn the needs that shape decisions, the cues that reveal emotions, and how to read the room to influence with empathy and precision. Understanding human behavior. Understanding human behavior, reading people, starts with respect. Influence starts before you speak. It starts when you choose to see the world as the other person sees it. Building on the foundation from the introduction, this chapter gives you the lens of human needs, trust signals, and cognitive shortcuts so you can guide decisions with empathy and clarity. You will learn why people move towards safety, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. You will also learn how trust grows when you consistently show competence, character, and care. When you respect these drivers, persuasion stops feeling like a push and becomes a natural pull. The core challenge: you persuade from your perspective. Most influence fails because you argue from your priorities, not theirs. You present logic while they seek safety. You push details while they want certainty in 1 sentence. The result is resistance, not because your idea is wrong, but because their needs are unmet. The trust loop framework. Use the trust loop to shift this pattern. Understand. Make them feel seen. Reflect feelings and goals in their words. Open. When people feel understood, they share more context. Align. With context, align your solution to their needs and identity. Earn. Alignment earns trust now, which compounds future influence. Repeat this loop across interactions. Consistency is the proof that builds credibility. How needs and shortcuts shape choices. People prefer predictability. Safety and certainty reduce mental load, which the brain craves. Offer clear options and step-by-step paths. Autonomy matters, so frame choices, not commands. Say, here are 2 ways we can do this. Which do you prefer? Relatedness drives cooperation. Small gestures, like remembering names or mirroring their pace, signal belonging. Fairness shapes motivation. Explain the why behind decisions and acknowledge trade-offs. Trust rests on 3 signals. Competence, you can do the job. Character, you tell the truth. Care, you put people first. Miss any one and trust wobbles. Emotional triggers such as recognition, belonging, and status move action. Use them with transparency. Praise specific behavior, invite contribution, and credit people publicly. People follow calm confidence, clarity of direction, and genuine warmth. Your tone and posture broadcast safety more than your words. The brain uses shortcuts to save energy. Defaults, social proof, and first impressions steer choices. Reduce friction. Make your message simple, concrete, and aligned with identity. If they see themselves as a helpful teammate, frame your ask as a way to help the team win. Putting empathy into practice. Start with their world. Ask, what is most important to you about this decision? Reflect and label. Say, sounds like predictability matters and the timeline worries you. Offer simple choices. Present no more than 3 options, each with a clear next step. Align T to identity. Tie your proposal to their values. For someone who values autonomy, this option gives you control over timing. Show the 3 C's. Demonstrate competence with examples, character with transparency, and care with consideration. Read cues. Notice facial microexpressions, tone shifts, and posture. If you see tight shoulders or clipped answers, slow down and create safety. De-escalate gently. Validate feelings. Ask clarifying questions, lower your voice, and pause. Stories from work and life. A manager inherited a defensive team after a failed launch. Instead of pushing faster, she began meetings by acknowledging frustration and asking what would make this feel fair. People opened up about workload and unclear roles. She mapped responsibilities, gave 2 scheduling options, and recognized wins weekly. The next quarter, delivery improved without overtime. A salesperson stopped demoing everything. He asked, what needs to feel certain before you say yes? The buyer wanted predictable support. He brought the support lead to the call, shared response times, and closed the deal. Pitfalls that break trust. Rushing to solutions before reflecting needs. Flooding with options or data that increase mental load. Using pressure instead of clarity and choice. Ignoring identity, which triggers defensiveness. Inconsistent follow-through that erodes credibility. Key takeaways. Human needs drive decisions more than arguments do. Trust grows from competence, character, and care. Simplicity reduces friction and invites yes. Align asks with identity and values. People feel safe when they feel seen. Action items map a stakeholder to the 5 needs, then plan your next conversation. Write 3 option sets for an upcoming decision, each with 1 clear next step. Practice the trust loop in a low-stakes chat today. After each meeting, note 2 cues you observed and how you responded. Looking ahead, you now have the lens to see why people say yes. In the next chapter, we turn that insight into words, tone, and body language, so you can master communication skills that make clarity your superpower. Mastering communication skills. Mastering communication skills. Chapter Introduction. Influence rides on the vehicle of communication. If the message is foggy, trust stalls. If the message is clean, momentum grows. In this chapter, you will learn how to reduce confusion and increase confidence by speaking simply and precisely. Building on understanding human behavior, we will connect human needs to your delivery. Clarity signals safety, calm tone communicates care, and a steady pace gives people space to think. You will leave with scripts you can use today. The problem. Most messages drown in vague language, long sentences, and mixed signals. Unclear communication increases anxiety, invites assumptions, and wastes time. People ask for more detail, meetings run long, and decisions linger. The solution. Framework. Use the clear, calm, concise model. Clear. State the point in concrete words. Calm. Choose tone and pace that lower pressure. Concise. Remove filler, share context only when needed, and end with a specific ask. Deep dive. Clarity begins with structure. Frame your message as problem, impact, solution, next step. For example, instead of, we should rethink the rollout, say, customers are confused by the timeline. This delays adoption. Propose a revised schedule with fewer phases. Can we confirm by Friday? Tone shapes emotional safety. Speak at a measured pace and keep your volume steady. Use open posture, relaxed shoulders, and aligned eye contact. When your nonverbal cues match your words, people trust the intent. Active listening multiplies influence. Listen not to reply, but to understand. Mirror key phrases, summarize meaning, and ask layered questions such as, what does success look like? What would make this easier? What decision is needed now? Implementation strategy. Prepare. Write the point in one sentence, the ask in one sentence. Deliver. Open with empathy, clarify the outcome, share the concise message. Verify. Ask the listener to reflect back in their words. Close. Confirm next steps with owners and timelines. Real-world application. A product manager faced a heated meeting about a delayed launch. She used the frame, "The issue is unclear milestones, the impact is rework and stress, the solution is a two-stage plan with clear owners, the next step is a sign-off by noon tomorrow." The room settled. Decisions happened. A customer service lead changed call scripts from "How can I help?" to "I can help with billing, shipping, or returns. Which are you calling about?" Call times dropped and satisfaction rose because customers felt guided. Common pitfalls. Leading with backstory instead of the point. Speaking fast while using intense language. Overloading slides and notes with abstract terms. Ending without a clear ask or deadline. Key takeaways. Clear beats clever. Structure reduces anxiety and accelerates agreement. Tone, pace, and body language signal safety. Listening deeply reveals needs you can meet. Short sentences and concrete words increase trust. Action items. Record a 1-minute message, then cut 20% without losing meaning. Rewrite a long email into 4 parts: problem, impact, solution, next step. Practice layered questions in your next meeting. Ask a colleague to rate your tone and pace during a conversation. Practice your cadence, open with empathy, clarify the outcome, deliver the point, verify understanding, then confirm next steps. Repetition builds a reputation for clarity and trust. Chapter conclusion. Consistent, simple communication creates credibility. Credibility unlocks influence. In the next chapter, we will build instant trust and likability through small habits that make people feel respected and safe. Building instant trust and likability. Building instant trust and likability. Chapter introduction. You can feel trust. It shows up as ease in the conversation, quick decisions, and fewer misunderstandings. Likability is not charm. It is consistent signals that you are safe, attentive, and dependable. Building on mastering communication skills, this chapter turns clarity into connection. You will learn small, repeatable habits that create strong first impressions, earn confidence, and turn new contacts into loyal relationships. Influence grows fastest when people feel respected and understood. The problem. Most people try to be liked by pleasing everyone, or they push for agreement before trust exists. The result is polite resistance or silence. Without fast rapport, good ideas stall, meetings drift, and opportunities fade. You need a reliable way to signal warmth and competence in the first 2 minutes. The solution framework. Use the trust fast start. Demonstrate truth, respect, understanding, service, and time. Truth, say what is real and avoid hedging. Respect, treat people with dignity, use names early. Understanding, show empathy through listening and reflection. Service, be helpful without keeping score. Time, be reliable through micro commitments and follow-up. Pair this with mirroring, subtle alignment of posture, pace, and language. Deep dive, first impressions form quickly. Start with presence. Stand or sit open, relax your shoulders, and smile with your eyes. Use their name within the first 10 seconds. Match their pace and energy. Fast people feel seen when you move efficiently. Thoughtful people feel safe when you slow down. Mirroring works when it is light. If they lean in, you lean slightly. If they use specific words, reflect key phrases. For example, if they say, "We are under pressure to simplify," reply, "I hear simplify is the priority." That signals listening, not imitation. Be relatable through relevant personal stories. Keep it brief and values-focused. For example, I care a lot about clear handoffs. When teams trade assumptions, they trade delays. You share a value, not your life story. Implementation strategy. Use a 2-minute report routine. Greet warmly. Name, "Good to meet you." Align tone. "I am glad we have a few minutes to focus on this." Ask a meaningful question. What would a good outcome look like for you today? Reflect back. So success is a simple plan and clear roles, correct? Agree on an outcome. Let us aim for 2 decisions and 1 next step. Keep promises on micro-commitments. If you say, "I will send the summary by 3, send it by 3. Use transparency scripts. Here is what I can do today, and here is what would need more time. Real-world application. A consultant met a new client who was skeptical after a rough vendor experience. She used the 2-minute routine, mirrored the client's concise style, and summarized priorities in one sentence. She followed with a same-day recap and one useful template. The client replied, "You made this easy." Trust grew, the scope doubled, and the relationship lasted 3 years. A team lead welcomed a new hire. He learned the hire's goals, set a 30-day plan, and sent a 1-page checklist within an hour. The hire felt guided, not watched, and became a top performer. Common pitfalls: overpromising to impress, promise less, deliver more. Hedging with vague language, use concrete words and timelines. Being obvious with mirroring, keep it subtle and responsive. Hidden agendas, state intent early, I want us both to succeed. Inconsistent follow-up, missed micro-commitments erode trust fast. Key takeaways: trust grows through small, consistent behaviors. Mirroring should be light, align pace and language. Use names early, signal dignity and care. Transparency plus follow-through creates loyalty. Likeability is attentiveness and reliability, not pleasing everyone. Action items: practice the 2-minute rapport routine with a colleague. Send one timely follow-up within 2 hours of your next meeting. Write a 1-sentence value story you can share briefly. Create a micro-commitments list and track delivery. Use the phrase, "What would a good outcome look like for you today?" Review your calendar for one promise you can deliver earlier. Chapter conclusion: trust and likability amplify the clarity you built in the last chapter. In the next chapter, we will explore psychological triggers that make people say yes, so you can combine trust with ethical nudges that help decisions happen. Psychological triggers that make people say yes, why people say yes, and why it must be ethical. You have already built trust and likability. Now you will learn how to help people say yes with clarity and confidence. Psychological triggers are not tricks. They are cues that reduce uncertainty, spotlight value, and respect how humans decide. In this chapter, you will master 5 reliable triggers: reciprocity, social proof, authority, scarcity, and consistency. You will also get a simple checklist to keep your intent clean and your communication transparent. The hidden friction behind agreement. People hesitate because of risk, ambiguity, and overload. They wonder, is this safe? Is this common? Is this credible? Is this time-sensitive? And does this fit who I am? If you do not address these questions, even a great offer stalls. Triggers lower that friction, so a good decision feels easy. The 5-trigger framework. Reciprocity. Give genuine value first, like a useful insight or small favor. Social proof. Show credible examples of others who benefited. Authority. Present expertise through results and clear thinking. Scarcity. Highlight real limits on time or capacity. Never fake it. Consistency. Align next steps with prior commitments and identity. How each trigger works in practice. Reciprocity. Send a short audit or tailored suggestion before asking for time. People naturally want to return value when they receive value. Keep it relevant. And proportionate. Social proof. Share specific outcomes from similar people. For example, 3 clients in your industry cut onboarding time by 30% after this change. Use names or numbers only with permission. Authority. Lead with proof, not puffery. Show a brief credential, a concise case, or a clean framework. Authority grows when you think clearly and explain simply. Scarcity. Tell the real constraint. For example, I have 2 coaching slots this month, and I prioritize current clients. Scarcity motivates action and protects your capacity, but it must be true. Consistency. People prefer to act in line with what they already said or believe. Remind them, last week you said faster response time was the priority. Here is the simplest path to achieve it. Step-by-step application. Clarify the decision. Name the specific yes you want. Map friction. List risks, unknowns, and effort from their view. Choose 2 triggers that best address the friction. Craft proof. Gather short examples, a sample, or a credential. Make the ask. State a clear next step and confirm a time. Field examples and many case studies. A freelancer won a retainer by offering a quick audit of a landing page, reciprocity, then sharing 2 client results from the same niche, social proof, and asking for a 2-week trial, consistency. A manager needed a team to adopt a tool. She invited a respected peer to demo, authority, showcased how 2 squads saved hours, social proof, and set a 2-week experiment, consistency. A nonprofit raised donations by sending a personal impact update, reciprocity, then naming a matching window, true scarcity, which boosted timely gifts. Misuses to avoid and how to correct fake scarcity. Replace with honest capacity limits. Inflated authority, replace with humble proof. Vague social proof, replace with specific comparable examples. Oversized gifts, keep reciprocity proportionate. Forcing commitments, offer small, reversible steps. What to remember. Triggers reduce doubt, they do not replace value. Authentic examples beat grand claims. Small early wins create momentum. Clear next steps drive follow-through. Ethics protects reputation and long-term influence. Next moves to put this to work. Build a trigger library, 3 case notes, 1 sample, 1 credential. Write a 1-paragraph reciprocity offer you can send in minutes. Create a 2-line social proof script tailored to your audience. Draft an honest scarcity statement that protects your calendar. Use the ethics checklist: intent, relevance, truth, consent, benefit. From triggers to stories. When you combine trust with ethical triggers, agreement becomes collaborative. Next, you will level up by using stories that make your message unforgettable, so people not only say yes, they believe in the journey. Becoming a powerful storyteller. Chapter Introduction. Stories move hearts, and hearts move decisions. You have already learned how triggers guide choices and how trust opens doors. Now you will turn those insights into narratives that people remember, repeat, and act on. Great stories do more than entertain, they create meaning. In this chapter, learn simple formulas, practical templates, and scripts. See how to craft messages that align with values and invite agreement. The problem: most messages drown in facts and features. People need context and emotion to care. Data tells what, story shows why. Without a clear arc, your ideas feel scattered, your audience tunes out, and you miss the chance to connect identity to action in real moments. The solution: framework. Use a 5-part arc: situation, struggle, insight, resolution, and call to action. Pair it with 3 simple templates: the ABT frame, and sets the scene, but names the tension, therefore points to the change. The mini hero journey: a relatable person faces a challenge, learns, then transforms. The everyday anecdote: a short, true moment that illustrates value. Each template keeps focus on the listener. Deep dive. Start with situation. Give a concrete setting and goal so the audience visualizes. Next, name the struggle. Highlight clear stakes, what might be lost or gained, and tension. Then share insight, the key lesson that shifts perspective. Follow with resolution, action taken, and outcome. Close with a call to action that invites a step. Tie in ethical triggers from the last chapter. Authority appears with experience, social proof with credible examples, reciprocity with helpful tips. Keep details specific, use sensory cues, and choose verbs that show movement. Implementation strategy. Prepare a listener map, list your audience, their values, and desired identity. Draft 1 story using the 5-part arc. Write 1 sentence for each phase. Trim until the story fits in 90 seconds. Translate the arc into ABT. Record a practice run, listen for clarity and pacing, then refine verbs and remove filler. Align the resolution and call to action with the benefit the listener cares about, and with a question that invites commitment. Real-world application. In a sales call, tell a customer testimonial. Situation: a peer struggle to adopt. Struggle: delays and stress. Insight: a pilot reduced risk. Resolution: results in 3 weeks. Call to action: try the pilot. In a team meeting, share a leader story connecting purpose to a win. In a networking chat, use an anecdote that links your mission to a problem solved. Common pitfalls. Beware long setups that delay the point. Cut background to 2 sentences. Avoid unclear stakes. Name what matters and why now. Resist self-centered stories. Keep the listener as the hero. Do not exaggerate outcomes. Credibility beats drama. Key takeaways. Stories create emotion, context, and deep meaning for decisions. Use the 5-part arc for clarity and impact. ABT and, but, therefore, delivers quick structure in conversations. Keep details specific, stakes clear, and verbs active. Align the resolution with audience values and identity. Invite small commitments that build momentum and trust. Action items. List 3 audiences you want to influence soon. Write 1 90-second story using the arc. Translate it into ABT for quick delivery. Record, review, and refine language for clarity today. Share the story and ask for one commitment. Chapter conclusion. Storytelling turns trust into motion. When people see themselves in your message, they act. In the next chapter, you will scale skill into leadership that inspires, aligns, and sustains momentum for teams. Influence through leadership. Chapter introduction. Building on your storytelling skills, leadership is where influence scales beyond one conversation. When you lead well, people do not just agree, they commit, contribute, and carry momentum forward even when you are not in the room. In this chapter, you will learn to lead with confidence by creating clarity, safety, and ownership. You will design simple rhythms that keep your team aligned and motivated. Control is fragile. Inspiration endures. You will use influence to move people together toward meaningful outcomes. The problem: many teams drift in confusion. Roles are fuzzy, decisions feel opaque, and recognition is rare. Leaders try to control tasks and deadlines, which creates compliance without commitment. Without purpose or progress, energy fades and turnover rises. The solution framework. Use a three-part framework: clarity, safety, ownership. Clarity. Define outcomes, roles, and priorities, and explain the why. Safety. Make it safe to speak up, ask questions, and share risks. Ownership. Invite people to co-create plans, solve problems, and track progress. This mix produces confidence, loyalty, and consistent results. Deep dive. Clarity starts with outcomes, not activities. State the destination, measurable result, and constraints. Then map roles: who leads, who supports, and how decisions are made. Explain the why so work feels meaningful. Safety grows when you listen, respond with curiosity, and follow through. Regular one-on-ones, open forums, and visible recognition show care. People support what they help create. Ownership emerges when you ask, what do you recommend? What will you try next? What support do you need? Use a coaching cycle. Ask, listen, reflect, co-create next steps, and confirm accountability. Handle conflict with calm presence. Separate facts from judgments, name shared goals, explore options, and set fair agreements. Implementation strategy: run weekly team huddles, review goals, progress, blockers, and next steps. Keep it under 30 minutes and focused on outcomes. Hold bi-weekly one-on-ones, check on workload, growth, and well-being. Ask, what is going well, what feels hard, how can I help? Use a decision log, record key choices, the why, and owners. Share it so everyone stays aligned. Create a recognition ritual. Praise specific effort and progress in public, coach constructively in private. Remove friction fast. Fix bottlenecks, clarify priorities, and streamline tools. Make progress easier than delay. Model standards. Be on time, be prepared, and follow through. Your behavior sets the tone. A nonprofit director shifted from task assignments to outcomes. She set a clear goal for donations, shared constraints, and invited ideas. Weekly huddles surfaced blockers early. Donations grew, and volunteers stayed engaged. A product lead working across functions created a shared decision log and monthly demos. Engineers, designers, and marketers saw progress and felt heard. Releases became smoother and trust increased. Common pitfalls: vague goals, fix by naming outcomes and measures. Micromanagement: replace with coaching questions and checkpoints. Inconsistent follow-through: keep a simple promise tracker and review it weekly. Recognition without specifics: praise the behavior and impact, not just effort. Avoided conflict: address issues quickly with curiosity and fairness. Key takeaways: confidence comes from clarity, consistency, and care. Safety invites voice. Ownership invites commitment. Purpose and progress fuel motivation. Influence grows when people feel seen and challenged to grow. Action items: write a one-page team charter with outcomes, roles, and decision rules. Schedule weekly huddles and bi-weekly one-on-ones for the next 6 weeks. Draft a recognition plan, one specific praise per person per week. Start a decision log and a promise tracker today. Chapter conclusion. Leadership is influence that lasts. When you create clarity, safety, and ownership, you unlock commitment and momentum. In the next chapter, we will apply these tools to business and social situations, including sales, negotiation, and everyday interactions. Influence in business and social situations. Chapter 8. Influence in business and social situations: why everyday influence matters. You influence more than you notice. Sales calls, project updates, coffee chats, and family decisions all respond to your presence. Building on influence through leadership, you now apply influence in the moments that move deals, align expectations, and deepen relationships. This chapter gives you practical playbooks for business and social contexts. You will read the room, adjust pace and tone, and use simple scripts that make decisions easier. Influence is not a performance, it is a service mindset that creates clarity and reduces friction. The challenge in mixed contexts. Different settings reward different behaviors. A polished pitch can feel aggressive in a friendship, and a casual request can feel vague in a negotiation. The challenge is adapting without losing authenticity. You need a repeatable way to bring calm, clarity, and mutual benefit into any conversation. The Presence Framework. Use a 4-part framework: clarity, empathy, mutual benefit, commitment. Clarity. Define outcomes, roles, and decisions. Empathy. Listen for feelings, not only facts. Mutual benefit. Align your aims with theirs. Commitment. Secure clear next steps with time, owner, and success criteria. Deep dive into sales, negotiation, and relationships. Sales. Focus on fit, outcomes, and commitment. Start with discovery. Ask, what are you trying to achieve, and what would make this a win? Map pains to outcomes. Share only relevant proof. Offer a low-risk next step, such as a pilot or a limited-scope trial. Confirm decisions clearly. What would you need to say yes with confidence? Negotiation. Shift from positions to interests. Ask, if this went well for both of us, what would be true? List variables: scope, timeline, price, service level, risk. Trade variables. If we extend the timeline, we can hold the price. Document agreements in plain language. Relationships. Influence is care expressed as respect, attention, and boundaries. Listen for the feeling underneath the words. Validate before you advise. Try. It sounds like you felt overlooked. Do you want support or solutions? Choose curiosity over criticism. Say, help me understand what mattered most to you. Practical steps for immediate application. Prepare. Write 3 outcomes and 1 first question. Open with context. The goal today is to decide X. Listen actively. Reflect back 1 feeling and 1 fact. Align. Summarize mutual benefit in 1 sentence. Close with commitment, next step, owner, date, success measure. Real-world wins and lessons. A consultant selling a data audit asked, what decisions are slow today? The client named 2. The consultant mapped those pains to a 2-week pilot and secured a clear commitment. Result, renewal and a broader engagement. A manager negotiating resources reframed positions to interests. She asked engineering what risk matters most. They named reliability. She traded a smaller scope for guaranteed testing and documented the agreement. Result, on-time delivery and improved trust. A friend facing tension said, "It sounds like you felt dismissed in that meeting. Do you want me to listen or help you plan a response?" Result, the friend felt respected and asked for a role play, which led to a calm conversation with their team. Mistakes to avoid. Vague asks. Always define the decision. Overloading proof. Share only what is relevant. Ignoring feelings. Validate before advising. Rushed closes. Confirm owner, deadline, and measure. One-size tone. Match pace and energy to the room. Key takeaways. Influence thrives on clarity, empathy, mutual benefit, and commitment. Sales focus on fit, outcomes, and a low-risk next step. Negotiation. Trade variables to serve shared interests. Relationships. Validate feelings and set healthy boundaries. Presence invites cooperation more than performance does. Action steps. Write 3 discovery questions for your next conversation. Draft 1 sentence that states mutual benefit. Prepare a pilot or low-risk step you can offer. Create a simple agreement template with owner, date, and measure. Practice a validation line. It sounds like you felt X. Moving forward with confidence. You now have tools to influence decisions and deepen trust in any setting. In the next chapter, you will strengthen confidence and presence, the body and voice skills that make these playbooks feel natural under pressure. Confidence and Presence, Chapter Introduction. Influence in business and social situations thrives when you radiate calm, steady authority. Building on the last chapter, you will move from playbooks to presence. This chapter shows you how to project steady confidence without pretending to be perfect. You will learn posture that signals safety, breathing that steadies your pace, voice tools that carry meaning, and rituals that help you arrive composed. When body, breath, and voice align, people feel guided. The problem is, you know what to say, yet nerves scramble delivery. Shoulders tense, pace speeds up, filler words slip in, and your message loses power. Confidence seems mysterious, or worse, reserved for extroverts. In reality, presence is a trainable skill that uses simple, repeatable behaviors. The solution framework. Use the body, breath, voice model. Body sets the frame with openness and stability. Breath creates calm and timing. Voice shapes energy and clarity. Layer a short pre-conversation ritual to prime focus. Practice briefly, then review smartly to refine. Deep dive body. Stand with a tall spine, relaxed shoulders, and feet grounded hip-width apart. Sit with both feet planted and an open chest. Keep your hands visible, resting at mid-torso, and let your face soften. Use micro-smiles and gentle eye contact to reduce tension in others. Breath. Try box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. This lowers arousal and steadies your cadence. Before speaking, take 1 nasal breath and release slowly through the mouth. Your pace will settle without effort. Voice. Aim for a warm middle pitch. Articulate consonants and let vowels breathe. Use emphasis on key words, then pause. A 2-second pause is a spotlight. Vary tempo. Slow for important points. Slightly faster for energy. End sentences cleanly instead of trailing off. Implementation strategy. Before any high-stakes moment, use a 9-step protocol. 1. Stand or sit tall. 2. Relax jaw and shoulders. 3. Breathe box pattern twice. 4. Decide your first sentence. 5. Choose one key outcome. 6. Pre-frame the context in one line. 7. Commit to slower pace. 8. Set eyes to friendly focus. 9. Deliver the opening sentence and pause. Real-world application. A product manager begins a heated meeting with a calm opener. First, thank the room. Then state the shared goal, and pause. The group settles. A sales rep starts a demo with a clear agenda and slow pace. Questions feel welcomed. A parent begins a tough talk with soft eyes and a grounded stance. The child mirrors calm. Common pitfalls. Do not confuse volume with confidence. Loud can feel aggressive. Avoid fidgeting, pocketed hands, and darting eyes. Skip apologies that are not needed. Remove filler words by pausing instead of saying or like. If you speed up, touch thumb to finger and reset breath. Key takeaways. Confidence is the result of aligned body, breath, and voice. Calm presence makes decisions easier for other people. Pausing increases authority and clarity instantly. Small rituals compound into reliable confidence. Review recordings to spot and remove nervous habits. Action items. Record a 2-minute message, then review posture and pace. Practice box breathing twice daily for 1 week. Write 3 first sentences for common situations. Create a 1-line outcome for your next meeting. Build a 30-second centering ritual and use it daily. Chapter conclusion. Presence turns influence from tactics into trust. In the next chapter, you will set ethical guardrails so your growing confidence protects autonomy and builds long-term respect. Ethical influence versus manipulation. Chapter introduction. Influence without ethics is fragile. Building on confidence and presence, this chapter turns your strength into trust that lasts. You will learn how to persuade while honoring autonomy, protecting relationships, and elevating your reputation. Ethical influence is not soft. It is clear, transparent, and consent-based. When people feel respected, they listen more, decide faster, and stay loyal. This is how influence compounds over time into long-term opportunity. The problem. Many people confuse influence with manipulation. They push urgency, hide trade-offs, or use emotion without consent. These tactics may win once, then quietly burn bridges. The result is churn, skepticism, and a damaged name that follows you into every conversation. The solution. Framework. Use the ethic filter to evaluate messages and methods. Empathy. Understand their needs and constraints. Transparency. Show intent, process, and options. Honesty. Use accurate information and fair framing. Intent. Seek mutual benefit, not one-sided gain. Consent. Ensure people are free to say no. Add boundaries. Decide what you will and will not do. Pair the ethic filter with an informed choice script. Value, alternatives, risks, next step. Deep dive empathy. Start with their reality. What decisions do they face? What pressures exist? What outcomes matter most to them? Ask, what would make this safe and useful for you? Transparency. Reveal your role and incentives. If you benefit from a decision, say so. Share the process, timeline, and any constraints. Transparency lowers fear because it reduces surprise. Honesty. Present accurate data and balanced narratives. Do not exaggerate benefits or minimize limitations. If results vary by situation, name the variables. Intent. Choose mutual gain. Instead of win-win language, name how both sides benefit. If the offer is not a fit, recommend alternatives. Your intent becomes visible through your actions. Consent. Invite agency at every step. Use consent checks. Would you like to explore this option? Not yet, or pass. This small question creates safety and builds trust. Reputation is influence you do not have to argue for. A proverb says, trust arrives on foot and leaves on horseback. Integrity is slow to build and quick to lose. Protect it by staying consistent even when no one is watching. Implementation strategy. Define intent. Write your desired outcome and their likely outcome. Map value and trade-offs. List benefits, costs, and risks for both sides. Craft the message using the informed choice script. Here is the value, here are two alternatives, here are the risks, here is the next step. Add a consent check. Would you like to move forward or explore another path? Set boundaries. Document what you will not do. For example, pressure, hide fees, or overpromise. Invite questions. Offer to clarify and welcome pushback. Log outcomes. Track results and adjust the approach. Real-world application sales. A consultant shares the package, the low-cost option, and a do-it-yourself path. They state variable results based on scope and commit to an exit option after 30 days. Close rates rise and referrals grow. Leadership. A manager explains priorities, capacity limits, and criteria for promotions. Team loyalty increases because expectations are clear and fair. Social. A friend asks for help. You share what you can do, what you cannot, and a timeline. The relationship strengthens. Common pitfalls. Overpromising results. Hiding real costs or time. Using social proof without relevance. Pressuring decisions with false urgency. Failing to follow through on commitments. Key takeaways. Ethical influence honors autonomy and consent. Transparency and honesty reduce fear and friction. Intent should create mutual benefit. Boundaries protect trust and clarity. Reputation compounds when ethics are consistent. Action items. Write your personal ethical boundaries. Build the informed choice script for a key offer. Add consent checks to your conversations. Audit one message with the ethic filter. Ask 3 trusted people to review your approach. Chapter conclusion. Ethics turn influence into a durable asset. In the next chapter, Daily Habits to Become More Influential, you will build simple routines that keep these standards alive every day. Daily Habits to Become More Influential. Daily Habits to Become More Influential. Chapter Introduction. Influence grows with repetition. You do not become persuasive because of a single presentation. You become persuasive because your daily behavior trains people to trust you. In the last chapter, you committed to ethical standards. Now you will install simple routines that make those standards automatic. This chapter gives you a compact system for daily practice. You will learn micro habits that take minutes, a weekly calibration routine, and a 30-day challenge that compounds into confidence, presence, and reliable follow-through. The problem: most people treat influence like an event, not a skill. They prepare for big meetings, then drift between them. Without consistent practice, clarity fades, listening gets shallow, and follow-up slips. The result is slow decisions, mixed signals, and relationships that never deepen. As Peter Drucker said, what gets measured gets managed. If you do not track influence behaviors daily, you will not master them. The solution framework used the daily influence flywheel, 3 pillars that reinforce each other. Clarity. Use a short clarity script. Point, context, ask, next step. Listening. Reflect one key phrase and ask a layered question in every conversation. Follow through. Send one confirmation or check-in per day. Add 3 micro habits, 3 sincere acknowledgments, 1 concise ask, 1 follow-up. Boost quality with a weekly 2-minute recording to refine pace, tone, and structure. Track wins and lessons to keep the flywheel turning. Deep dive micro acknowledgments, spot real effort and name it. Say, Maria, your summary made the decision easy. Thank you. This builds likability without flattery. 1 concise ask, state the outcome, why it matters, and the deadline. For example, could you send the draft by 3 p.m. so we can include it in the client packet? 1 follow-up, close open loops. A quick note, here is the recap, your part, my part, timing. Active listening, reflect 1 key phrase verbatim. If someone says, I am worried about timing, reply, you are worried about timing. Then ask a layered question that goes a level deeper. What would make the timeline feel safe to you? This keeps people talking and reveals leverage. Clarity script, point, the simple headline. Context, the relevant facts. Ask, the decision or action you want. Next step, who does what by when. Use it in emails, updates, and meetings. Weekly calibration. Record a 2-minute message about any topic. Play it back at 1.25 speed. Note filler words, wandering, or monotone. Aim for shorter sentences, varied pace, and a decisive close. Putting it into practice. Start the 30-day Influence Mastery Challenge. Each day, complete this checklist. Greet first, smile, and use names. Mirror lightly, match posture and pace for 10 seconds, then be natural. Summarize 1 conversation in 1 sentence and confirm next step. Cut 3 filler phrases like I think, just, kind of. Use the clarity script at least once. Real-world application. Sales rep Maya began each call with 1 acknowledgement and 1 layered question. Her close rate rose because clients felt heard. She ended calls with a clear ask and next step. Deals moved faster. Teacher, Jamal used the clarity script at the start of class. Point, today we master thesis statements. Context, this unlocks your essay. Ask, write 1 in 3 minutes. Next step, swap and give feedback. Engagement spiked. Team lead, Priya sent 1 daily follow-up summarizing decisions. Over 6 weeks, meeting time dropped and on-time delivery improved. Her team said, you make work easy to follow. Common pitfalls. Overpraising. Keep acknowledgments specific and earned. Robotic mirroring. Mirror briefly, then be yourself. Asking without value. Share context first. Skipping tracking. Use a tiny checklist. Perfectionism. Rough and consistent beats perfect and rare. Key takeaways. Influence grows through small, repeatable actions. Clarity, listening, and follow-through are daily skills. The clarity script shortens meetings and sharpens asks. Recording yourself reveals blind spots quickly. Tracking creates momentum and accountability. Action items. Create a 1-page tracker with the daily checklist. Schedule a 5-minute end-of-day reflection, wins and lessons. Record 1 2-minute message each Friday and review it. Prepare 3 acknowledgement prompts you can adapt. Draft 1 clarity script email and save it as a template. Choose an accountability partner and share progress weekly. Chapter conclusion. Daily practice turns ethical intent into automatic behavior. Keep the flywheel moving, clarity, listening, follow-through. In the next chapter, we will bring everything together and map your path to becoming highly influential so your habits and your reputation work as one. Conclusion. The path to becoming highly influential. Stepping into the path of influence. You have built skills in listening, clarity, trust, triggers, storytelling, leadership, confidence, ethics, and daily habits. Now it is time to integrate them into a simple path you can walk every day. Influence is not a title or a trick. It is a posture. It is how you show up, how you serve, and how consistently you follow through. In this conclusion, you will learn a compact system that keeps your progress compounding. You will see how to move from practice to reputation and from reputation to results. The goal is calm strength, predictable outcomes, and relationships that grow with every conversation. The biggest challenge is not what to say. It is staying aligned when pressure rises. You will face tight timelines, skeptical people, and moving targets. Without a system, you fall back to volume, cleverness, or manipulation. With a system, you choose presence, service, and clarity. Pressure becomes a cue to lead. The flywheel of ethical influence. Use a 5-step flywheel. Learn a principle, practice it in small moments, request feedback, iterate the behavior, then lead by example. Repeat. This flywheel keeps you ethical, practical, and focused on outcomes. It turns skills into habits, habits into reputation, and reputation into trust that unlocks decisions. How the flywheel compounds learning. Adds tools. Practice turns tools into muscle memory. Feedback corrects drift. Iteration removes friction. Leadership magnifies everything through modeling. For example, when you use the clarity script, point, context. Ask, next step, people decide faster. When you mirror lightly, they feel seen and open up. When you track follow through, your name means reliability. As one manager said, influence is the art of making things easier. Putting the system into daily practice. Start with one conversation per day where you apply the full sequence. Beforehand, define the outcome. During, listen for needs, reflect one key phrase, tell a short story, then make a clear ask. After, request one sentence of feedback and capture one lesson. Each week, choose one skill to iterate. Each month, teach a technique to someone else. Proof from the field. Anna, a product lead, used the flywheel during a contentious roadmap meeting. She opened with a shared outcome, reflected a developer concern, told a customer story, then asked for a 2-week experiment. She requested feedback after the call and refined her pacing. Within a quarter, decisions sped up and cross-team trust rose. Marcus, a sales director, trained his team on the clarity script and daily follow-up. Deals that stalled started moving, not by pressure, but by better framing. Revenue increased, and so did referrals, because buyers felt guided instead of pushed. Mistakes that stall momentum. Avoid collecting tactics without practice. Avoid speaking more when you feel unsure. Avoid promising what you cannot deliver. When you slip, name it, repair it, and return to the flywheel. Consistency beats intensity, and service beats clever. Key takeaways. Influence is a daily posture, not a title. The flywheel keeps you ethical and effective. Clarity and follow-through create reputation, feedback, and iteration. Remove friction. Presence under pressure signals leadership. Service first makes people want to say yes. Next steps. Choose one skill to practice every day. Use the clarity script in your next 3 meetings. Ask for one sentence of feedback each week. Track follow-through in a simple checklist. Teach one technique to a colleague or friend. Review wins and lessons every Friday. Closing thoughts. Building on daily habits to become more influential, you now have a path that compounds. Keep your standards high. Be the person who steadies the room, clarifies decisions, and honors commitments. Practice with purpose, and you will become someone others are glad to follow. Conclusion. Celebrate your progress. You have reached the end of a focused journey, and you should feel proud. You invested attention, practiced new skills, and built a clear standard for ethical influence. You now speak with more clarity, listen with deeper empathy, and guide others with calm confidence. You learned how to communicate so people feel safe, understood, and motivated. You discovered that influence is not a trick, it is a service. Your reputation will grow from consistent, respectful action. Congratulations for choosing a path that earns trust and creates real outcomes. From knowledge to real change. Across these chapters, you moved from curiosity to capability. You learned why influence matters and how it differs from manipulation. You explored human needs, the way trust forms, and how emotional safety changes decisions. You mastered simple communication, the power of tone and presence, and the art of speaking less while saying more. You built habits that create instant connection, used psychological triggers with honesty, and told stories that help people see themselves in a better future. You practiced leadership that inspires ownership instead of control. You stacked daily habits that turn influence into a natural way of showing up. You did not just learn ideas, you built a system you can rely on every single day. Core frameworks you can use immediately. Keep your core tools close and ready. The trust loop reminds you to understand first, then align, then earn agreement. The clarity script helps you lead with your point, add brief context, make a clear ask, and confirm next steps. The 2-minute rapport routine keeps first impressions warm and credible. The ABT frame makes storytelling simple, and the mini hero journey turns outcomes into motivation. The ethic filter guards your intent, your transparency, and your consent standard. The pre-conversation ritual steadies your breath, your voice, and your presence. The trigger checklist helps you use reciprocity, social proof, authority, scarcity, and consistency in honest ways that reduce uncertainty. These frameworks are simple by design. Practice them until they feel natural, then teach them to others to deepen your mastery. A practical path you can follow now. Keep momentum by moving from awareness to action. Start with 3 daily touchpoints. Give 1 sincere acknowledgement, ask 1 concise question, and offer 1 helpful resource. Choose 2 conversations today to practice active listening. Reflect 1 key phrase, ask 1 layered question, and summarize what you heard. Craft a short story using situation, struggle, insight, and resolution. Share it in your next meeting or message. Set weekly rhythms that build trust. One-on-one meetings with clear outcomes, visible recognition, and small wins celebrated. Use the ethic filter before any important ask. Confirm intent, disclose trade-offs, and invite a real choice. Adopt the 30-day challenge to build automatic habits. Track clarity, listening, presence, follow-through, and storytelling. Review your progress each week. Keep what works and refine what feels awkward. This path is practical and repeatable. When you walk it, you grow fast and steady. Navigating challenges with steady confidence. You will face resistance. That is normal. When people react defensively, slow your pace, name the feeling, and ask a calm question. Validate without collapsing your point. When meetings drift, return to the outcome, restate the problem, and make a clear next step. When you stumble, use the flywheel of influence. Learn, practice, get feedback, and iterate. When someone says no, thank them for their candor. Ask what would make yes possible, and offer a small next step without pressure. When your energy dips, use your ritual to reset your presence. Focus on service, not approval. Remember that ethical boundaries protect trust and protect you. Challenges do not stop progress, they sharpen it. Keep your standards high and your tone kind. Lead with clarity, keep your promises, and people will follow. Proof through real examples. Picture a sales professional who struggled with long pitches and inconsistent results. She started using the clarity script, added 1 short case story, and offered a low-risk trial. In 30 days, her close rate increased, and clients reported feeling more confident in their decisions. Imagine a manager with a tense team. He shifted from directives to coaching questions, clarified roles and outcomes, and recognized progress daily. Within a quarter, engagement rose, conflict decreased, and projects moved faster. Consider a student who felt nervous in social settings. He practiced posture and breath, used warm greetings, and mirrored lightly. He made new friends, landed an internship, and felt comfortable speaking up. These are simple changes. They are also powerful. When you apply the tools you now own, you create real progress in real life. Take the next step today. Decide on 1 conversation where you will apply your new skills immediately. Prepare your first sentence. Choose your outcome. Select 1 story that fits. Use the ethic filter to check intent and transparency. Then show up with calm presence and clear language. Send 1 thoughtful follow-up within 24 hours. Capture a win or a lesson in your tracker. Ask 1 trusted person for feedback on your clarity and your tone. Schedule your weekly rhythm now. A short meeting to plan outcomes, and a moment to celebrate progress. Share this system with 1 colleague or friend to increase commitment and momentum. Influence grows when you practice and when you serve. Take the next step today. The next step creates the next result. A final word of inspiration. You are ready to lead conversations that make decisions easier, relationships stronger, and outcomes better. You are ready to be the person who brings calm, who creates clarity, and who acts with courage and kindness. Influence is a choice you make every day. Choose presence over performance. Choose service over self. Choose integrity over shortcuts. Your reputation will become a promise, a signal of fairness, follow-through, and steady strength. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep inviting others into the process. Your voice can be the one people trust. Your actions can be the ones that open doors. Now, step forward with confidence. Speak with clarity. Listen with care. Lead with heart. The world needs your influence done right. Go create the change you want to see, 1 respectful conversation at a time.